Well, good day, everybody, and welcome to the language edition of 5-Minute Psych. In this 5-minute segment, we'll explore language and the brain, starting with the classic language areas, Broca's and Wernicke's. Then we'll go over two types of aphasia before discussing gender differences and the neural organization of language. Then we'll end by considering whether language is an ability that's unique to our human brain or whether it's found in other species as well. There are two brain regions that are classically associated with language. Broca's area is critical for language production, both spoken and written. It's located in the left frontal lobe, just next to the areas of the motor cortex that control the mouth and tongue. Wernicke's area is the other classic language area, and it's important for language comprehension, both spoken and written. It's found in the left temporal lobe, where auditory information is processed. One of the main reasons that we know the functions of these classic brain areas is from what happens when they're damaged. And we see two very different types of aphasia depending on the area of damage. With damage to Broca's area, the aphasia observed is a difficulty producing language. In less severe cases, the person may be able to speak, but it's very challenging for them to make the sounds that they want to. In severe cases, the person can't speak at all, can't express their thoughts using language at all, and this can be very frustrating for the patient. With damage to Wernicke's area, the aphasia now involves difficulties understanding language. With this, the patient can speak, and what they say is articulated well and grammatical, but it makes no sense, and they understand very little of what's said to them. Even a simple instruction like pick the red square when shown different colored shapes can be too difficult. Some research suggests that not only do we have specific brain areas for language, but that these brain systems may be organized differently in males and females. For one thing, language development tends to happen earlier in girls than boys, although they end up the same by adolescence. Also, with left hemisphere damage, males tend to suffer more aphasic symptoms than females with the same damage. This suggests that in females, areas outside of the classic language areas are more able to take over those language abilities, or it means that language is processed more all over the brain in females compared to males. This conclusion is further supported by fMRI evidence that found that when males and females are doing a language task, men only used areas in the left hemisphere, but females tended to activate areas in both hemispheres. All this means that females are more likely to process language across more areas of their brain compared to males. And to this day, it's unknown why our brains are organized this way with respect to language. If the human brain is designed for language learning, then this ability should be specific to us. So what about animals? Can they learn language? Well, we know that they can learn to associate a specific visual symbol or sound with a specific object or action. For instance, a dolphin, parrot, or chimpanzee would easily be able to follow the instruction, touch the big green ball, when faced with an assortment of balls of different sizes and colors. These animals would also understand that the order of the words mattered and could distinguish between put the box on the paper and put the paper on the box. But no amount of training in any animal has ever shown the complexity of language that matches what the average 3-year-old can do without formal training. So yes, with extensive training, animals can certainly learn some aspects of language, but it isn't the same as what humans do naturally. Well, we just explored language and the brain, beginning with two classic language areas, Broca's and Wernicke's. Then we looked at two types of aphasia before discussing gender differences and the neural organization of language. Finally, we contemplated whether language is a uniquely human ability by exploring language use in animals. Now, aren't you glad you had 5 minutes?